8 December, Thursday, MAO with Cal. Once again, when people are stealing openly, recession is in. Now, this is all the photograph I got from the mainstream media. My goodness, look at the people really going all out and steal for Walmart. And it's not like petty theft. They're doing is syndicated stealing. So they come in groups, they just basically take really the expensive stuff and walk out of the shops as if that nothing happened. This is really crazy, and of course this is actually a very bad news because Walmart CEO has just came out on CNBC and tell that if this is going to continue, they will lead to losses and shops may be closed. This is really crazy, man. So let's just talk about this today. So first of all, once again, disclaimer apply as usual, and thank you Ames for the kind sponsorship. Now, first of all, let's go do something a little bit lighter. Morgan Stanley cuts Apple shipments. This is not good, okay? So Morgan Stanley analysts reduce Apple iPhone shipment forecast by another. Remember, it's another. That means that they have already reduced by 6 million. Now they say another 3 million, so total 9 million. Oh my goodness. So is it because that is due to the slower production? No, that means the demand has actually decreased. So of course, we know that in recently we have the Zhengzhou plant in China, whereby it was the largest iPhone factory, and because there was some big issue protest at Foxconn, hence therefore, yes indeed, the production reduced. But if you were to ask me itself, right, it is actually both sides. Yes indeed, the production reduced, but I feel that it is because the demand from people also came up. But the point is this, that means 9 million iPhones are not going out, right? That means how much money is that? That's a lot of money. So the analysts are looking at 120 billion in December quarter, and that will have a 3% impact on the slow production. But the thing is this, I don't think so. I think it'll be worse than that. I don't think we'll hit $120 billion. It should be lower. And of course, iPhone share went down. Let's take a look. Now, iPhone share basically, let's take a look, has been going down in a very gradual downward trend momentum, alright? So to me itself, right, the volume shows there's no participation coming in, and I feel that there should be a little bit more downside to go. Hence, therefore, I am still very bearish. I still think that Apple share in about next 3 to 4 months can see $130. I know by saying this is going to freak a lot of people out, but it's not something that we didn't see before, because back then itself in June this year, we ever seen Apple share go down to 128, and that huge volume came in to buy, and the share price has went back all the way here. So if you tell me that this is not possible with a lower production, I think it's not gonna be correct, right? So more downside is actually expected, yeah? Now, BlackRock, okay, has frozen hires, reduced spending, said by the CFO. Now, why is that so? Because we all know that what happened in Blackstone, okay, they are all related, yeah? So their credit fund reaches withdrawal limit. Now, this is again very bad inclination of what's happening now in the market. And of course, Blackstone's chief came out and dismissed that there's concern about $69 billion real estate fund. So we've seen this before, right? Back in Lehman Brothers' time, the CEO, the CFO all came out and said that things are good, but we all know what happened next. Now, I'm not saying that BlackRock or Blackstone will come down or become zero rise. I'm just saying that the problem is still ongoing right now. And of course, Starwood and other REITs join Blackstone in limiting investors' withdrawal as economic concern spreads. So think about this. Why would it be happening? Because people are worried. People are very worried what's going to happen soon, and they want the money back. So the request to cash out climbs amid the high inflation because people need money and economic uncertainty. So it is no-brainer that we all know that economy around the whole world is going to suffer, and that when the big boys, or at least the people who have the ability to invest, notice this, they are going to get out. So there will be a sudden rush out of the theater door, which is going to be what is happening right now. So Starwood Real Estate Income Trust is a value of $26.2 billion showing and having this problem. Okay, request is coming in and they are limiting it right now. We have other REITs happening like Hartman REITs and Securities Exchange. All of them are showing that. So it's all the raising interest rate, inflation, recession that is a concern right now, and people are getting very worried. Okay, so of course economists will be interviewed like this guy Reinhardt. So he's being interviewed and he sees that elevated chance of recession coming in is from Bloomberg, and he's saying that, right, the downturn should be within the next 12 months. Now, to me itself, I believe that if you official number probably in September, next year. But it's telling me the starting point, I think, is as soon as now. I believe that December, January, February, you can see the impact of this recession coming in. And I'm not kidding you guys. I believe that it's going to happen. You should be very, very careful. So Walmart now is facing very serious syndicated theft. All right. So he came on, the Walmart CEO came on CNBC and he explained the situation itself. And he's saying that the rising theft could lead to price jump and store closure. Now, why price jump? Because when people are stealing your stuff, right, you need to replace that so-called earnings, right? So they have to increase the price, but that's going to be a very malicious cycle because people are stealing because they can't afford it, all right, or taking the easier way out. So if you would increase price, then what will happen? You cannot imagine what will happen, right? So the thing is this, okay, that could lead to more store closure. So if more store closure and they don't need to really continue for business, then they have to bring the price higher. And this is really, really a big problem right now. And no kidding, you can see over here, it says that, right, not only Walmart is the only big box retailer having the problem. Target basically say that the shoplifting, which I covered recently, has jumped by 50% and about $400 million losses in the fiscal year itself. And again, I say it's organized retail theft, okay, not petty theft. And if you're not corrected over time, price will go higher, store will close, and they're trying to work closely with the police. Now, I'm not encouraging thief at all, but you can see that that is a big problem right now. And why is it all this happening? Because people really need to, cover whatever they are doing right now because cost is increasing, and you can see that they are really very open with their stealing all the big ticket item, all right, they're doing it right now. So the question is this, okay, why are people doing that? Because it is very clear that if you are actually the core country economy is not doing well, you force people to do this, okay? And I can only say that, right, I remember once I saw this thing movie, I remember one particular scene I saw in Stephen Chow movie, and it's about this particular scene here itself. I don't know if I play it to you, but it's in Chinese, and you can't really, it's not loud enough, but I can show it to you what he says, and let's just go right in. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so this is Stephen Chow is in the movie as a character of the King of Beggars, and this is the King. All right, so the King is kind of worried because King of the beggar clan has more than 800,000 beggars around, and it's a very dangerous situation if they actually goes against the government, right? So let's just hear what he has to say. So what happened is that they're talking, and the king is telling you really need to be worried, right? So the beggar king says this, okay, actually, right, you are the one that decide the number of beggars. If you are a good emperor, you rule the country properly. Who the hell would like to be a beggar? Correct. So when I actually see this stuff, right, I just kind of realize that, if that is the point here, if let's say if people actually is doing well, economy is doing good, there's no reason why people will go to stealing. So that means there's something very wrong in the current situation right now, and that's why people are all doing this. Okay. So that is my view here. So I'll leave it there and see what we can achieve from there. All right, let's continue. All right, so what happened if the Federal Reserve pivot? Because people are saying that if Federal Reserve pivot, then things will be better. No, I really think that you are absolutely wrong. Let's look into history since 1964. Now you notice that, okay, every time when the Federal Reserve pivot, they change direction from a very strong arm approach to do quantitative tightening or increasing the interest rate environment, you notice that the market actually will fall after that. You see, every time when it pivot, the stock market will fall. It has been proven and proven over time. So if the Federal Reserve is going to pivot right now, it will send the message that the market is really in serious trouble. People will panic, handbrake will be pulled, and the market will really sell. So it's very different from what people are telling you right now. Oh, market pivot, the market will recover. This is absolutely, in my opinion, a lot of BS here, because we can see that history, the last 60 years, has been telling us a different story. So you can see right now, right, the Federal Reserve market bottom is always, the market bottom will only come after the pivot, and it go down quite significantly. That means that after the Federal Reserve pivot, means they stop and change, they to cut the interest rate further, downwards, and then only later then the market will really bottom. So which means that the market will see what Bangalore said, the bullwhip effect, alright, the bullwhip effect, and it will just keep on going downwards itself. So that's the reason why, in my opinion, we haven't seen the bottom yet. In fact, we have still got a long way to go, and this is the problem here with a lot of people saying that it's time to buy. And of course, I did my own research. I also realized that inflation is very interesting. Since 1970, you can see that whenever inflation shoots up, of course, we know that the economy will suffer a little bit. But when the inflation comes down, the stock market usually comes off. Can you see that? This is where probably the inflation was going up back in year 2000. The stock market was going up. And the moment inflation was brought down, the stock market also came off. So it repeated back in 08 and it's the same thing again. And it also happened in 18. So it means that whenever inflation actually comes down, it will actually hits the revenue, because everybody now is using the inflation as an excuse to increase their revenue. But when they realize that the increased price is equivalent to the same revenue or even lower, that is where things get hit. Alright, give you an example. It's just like now a lot of hawker center, they are increasing their prices because they want to have the same income, right, while the prices around them is increasing. So if let's say the plate of, let's say, a chicken chop example, costs about, in the past, cost you about $6, but because of that inflation coming in, they have no choice, they increase to $8 to maintain their so-called $2 profit. Then after that, people around them realize that they can't afford to pay, and what happened? Then this particular store will lose more because the daily cost and all the expenditure is going to hit in, and if the revenue is not able to compensate it, that's it, things will happen, right? So that is how and what's happening. So inflation itself cuts both ways, and from the charts we can see it very clearly. Alright, so hope that today's sharing you can understand that it's not a good sign. Things will get very ugly very soon. And of course, if you want to spend your money on the right place, you come to me right now and be part of the TWB community for my 19 intake. Alright, and of course, if you come in, you can get to hear me out. Okay, I have this thing called I Will Follow You channel, and I've been basically giving market calls. You can see that I give you the call, the entry, the stop loss, the TP level. And yesterday we did a short on Hang Seng. And of course, some students make as much as 663 US dollars, because we tell them to buy back only at 18,699, and incredible, that's where the market stopped there and recovered. And those who actually, you paid $888, you actually, in that single trade of 663 US dollars, you recover back all your money. So this is really incredible stuff, alright? And I'm still looking for the market to go down. So you can see that this is where we tell you what to do, what's the stop loss, and then what is the take profit level. And of course, we tell you how confident am I, and the rational reason. So all these are something that you don't see in the market, because a lot of people are not really telling you exactly what to do. They give you a very wide spectrum, and hopefully that you get it right, one in between. Alright, but for me, I give you very specific numbers and strategy. And of course, if we win, I'll tell you we won, and we lost, I'll tell you we exited it. Okay? Alright, so we're going to look at the charts today, and hopefully you can see something what we're seeing right now. Okay, so what we are seeing right now, we see that the China market is trying its best to go above the MA 200. So there are ongoing news saying that China will reopen, and it's something that we already heard that's why we'll be calling for buy. Alright, and of course, once it hits a certain high level of we consider resistant, we had to be very careful. Okay, so to me, China A50 must break MA 200 before we can give any more calls. Now the upside can be all the way to 13,400 level. So traders take note of that, yeah? Okay, for the US market right now, this is my 5% rule. I think you guys have understand this. The market has went below the 92.5%, which is about 34,181. So as long as the market stays below OP for today, 33,258 is really possible. Alright, so traders, you need to watch out for this. Of course, the Dow has been down for 4-5 days. Is it possible for technical rebound? It is possible. So traders, you just have to look out for this. Okay. Alright, let's look at the today's market. Okay, let's go. Now at this moment right now, this is the Hang Seng. The Hang Seng is moving up very nicely to 19,230, and you can see brilliantly yesterday. Let me just show you the full screen right now. When we called for buy back position, you can see right here. Okay, right here, see that? This is where we called for sell yesterday, and we see that the market will come down all the way to 18,699, and look at it guys, look at the way it stopped there and rebounded all the way up right now. So you can imagine how accurate we are in our trading. Okay, anyway, let's go back to the Dow Jones for today. Let's go now. Okay, wait for it to come up. Okay, here we go. Alright, so everything is all fully calculated by the system, yeah? Okay guys, so we have something very interesting here. The Dow Jones has a KSI, KRW red bar arrow here. This is our version 6 latest edition. So when KSI and KRW both come in line, there will be a red arrow coming up. And of course, that means that if the market loses OP, now today's OP is 33,611, which is currently now trading below. If the market loses OP, most likely going to come back down to 33,287, which is very near to my target of 285. Alright, so of course MLP is 33,616, MA30 is 33,826, so these are all the pressure points to resist the market. Alright, to make sure that it stays downwards. But of course, with the China market now recovering, that added on a few of the buying, but like I say again, the buying will have its limit because global problem is still ongoing. So as long as the market stays below OP, we will see 33,287 as a target, but if the market can go above the BNB SL level, we may see the market going back to 33,616, if not 33,826. Alright, now let's look at the NASDAQ. Now NASDAQ continue to slide because you can see the KSI, KRW both are in the red side, telling you that selling is still continuing. So NASDAQ today, it has lost the BNB support level at this 11,509. So if the market continue to slide further, we may actually see 11,276. That's a BNB minus 1x1 extension. So KSI, KRW both turn red. The red arrows there to signify that the selling momentum will likely continue. Alright. S&P 500. Same thing like the NASDAQ. Red arrow is here. So as long as the S&P stays below 3920, we can see coming down to the pivot 2 level at 3879. But I say again, temporary now, you can see some recovery because China market, Hang Seng market is recovering. So that will hold the market for a while. But you can see that the sellers are there. So probably we'll see the momentum selling coming during the European time. All right. And let's just look at the Nikkei right now. Been something look at Nikkei. So Nikkei is now breaking below the BNB support level, which is here. All right, put it in. Now BNB support level is at 27,553. So for the oops, there's some issue there with my, okay, I think there's something wrong with the pivot today. Let me just change this again. Yes, today got no pivot. That's why the thing was corrupted. Okay, so you can see that today, if the Nikkei stays below the BNB SL level, which is 27,553, Nikkei can come back down to 27,444. Okay, it came down earlier this morning, rebounded because this is the MA200 support. If the market rebound, that means that this is a very important base. If the market base goes below it, then the selling can be very drastic. Yeah, so traders, you need to be very, very careful on this. Okay, now yes, DAX is not open, but people are asking me, what's your view on DAX? Well, DAX has really been sideways for more than 10 days. And based on my KSI and my KRW, both are red. So later on today, a red arrow will appear. That means that there's a chance to see 14,142 for the DAX. Now DAX goes at 14,281, so the drop in 140 points is really, really possible. So let us see whether what I say makes sense or will come and manifest. All right. Let's look at the commodities right now, which is crude oil. Let's bring in crude oil. Okay, crude oil yesterday has continued to slide. You see, crude oil went up to $71.97, and I've been telling you this. If crude oil continue to go down, we can see $71, and you can see that both of them, the KSI and KRW, both turn red. That's why the red arrow appears, which will really tell you that the selling will likely continue. So all this information tells me a lot. So as long as I know how to utilize this, there's a lot of money to make. All right. So $71 will be a good bet here itself. And of course, the time when people are saying that it will not go to $70, I said that if the market breaks 76.80, it will, and it is really happening right now. Okay, right. So of course, you will ask this good question: how about OXY then? Let's bring it in. Now OXY came off a little bit, but it's not as dramatic as crude oil. So for OXY, 61.50 will still be the first price I'm looking at. and still $58 the next price I'm looking for. Okay, but at the moment now, both of them, my indicators are saying that the selling will likely continue. Yep. Okay, let's look at the gold market chart. Now let's take a look at gold. Now gold is in my position, but I feel right now is trying to get support at the BNB support level here, which is at 1765. So today is an inverse pivot. So as long as the market stays above OP, we may even see it going up to 1810. But because it's an inverse pivot, right, it'll be drawn towards the pivot. So 1780 will be the first support and base here. So likely maybe a sideways momentum for time being. All right. So if gold can go up, that'll be good. But that will depend on the situation of the dollar right now. Let me bring in the dollar chart, shall we? And let's take a look at the dollar so that we can actually feel the market even better. As you know, I'm a pretty I don't really necessarily see one market. I like to look at the whole picture of it so that we can actually feel this market a little bit better to improve our trading. Okay, so I'm going to change it to the daily chart so that we can feel it right now. Here we go. Take away the inflation numbers. Let's take it away. Let's take a look. Okay. So the dollar, as you can see, is heavily resisted at the MA200. So this MA200 is something that I mentioned to you, 105.80, and the dollar has to cross above it to go back to 107. But you can see that it's kind of resisted right now. So the dollar resisted because people are still, although they are saying that maybe the interest rate environment will go higher, but they also fear that the US economy may not be that good. So that is the reason why you can see some of the big funds are actually liquidating their dollar position because they don't think that the dollar will go up in the near term. So for me, it's more technical. Fundamental, that I feel that because the Federal Reserve will still increase interest rate to 5% to 5.25, the dollar should increase. But if the market prefer to sell right now, then we look at this 105.80 level, the MA200, for really suggestion to what to do next. So as long as it stays below here, right, I'm not that comfortable with the US dollar at the moment. Yeah, so take note of that. Okay, so if the dollar really come off, then the gold price will go higher. So traders, you can actually capture this run. But once the dollar finds strength, then be careful. Gold can come back down to 1785.58. Yeah. Okay. So that is gold. Let's look at silver. Here we go. Silver has came down yesterday to $22, then it strongly rebounded to $22.70. So for silver, you can see that it's actually bouncing at the BNB support level. That's what I mentioned. $22.10. So as long as silver maintains its upside, we can see going back to the BNB RL level, then that is 23.50. KSI and blue bars are pretty in line right now. KCX, sorry, my bad. So basically the buying is still there. So silver seems to be a very strong candidate. So if ever there be a then pullback soon, about $20 to $21, buy silver for it to go higher, because it seems that this silver has a lot of upside to go in the near term. All right. Now Ethereum, let's take a look. Let me refresh the screen. Now Ethereum pulls off. There's a CCYR new one, so that means that you have to do the new alteration of the levels. Okay, so the BNB SL level is 1217, SRL level 1277. So for Ethereum, if it breaks below 1217, you'll come down to 1157. KSI is not good. KCX is positive, so mixed back here. So the market will likely be swinging a little bit. All right. Last one will be Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin also created a new BNB, so it's a very tight one, very tight. That tell you that the marketplace are no longer really playing this counter. The sideways track movement between 1700 to 16600 is really the ding dong level here. So of course you can just buy and sell, sell and buy if you really think that this is going to be ranging. So if Bitcoin goes above 17135 today, we can see 17577. If not itself, right, the downside is 16232. All right, 16,232. Now, my point is this, guys. This is actually very sad because you can see that Bitcoin have been really sideways and very slow, very tight trading. This is actually the aftermath of FTX, and I think that people are losing confidence in this thing right now. So as long as the market can't find a significant rhythm to move on, I think that this Bitcoin will be here for a while before the selling in the stock market comes in, and this will follow through. All right. Okay, that'll be all for today. Sincerely hope that you make good money, and remember what I said today. I'll see you again tomorrow. This is Cal signing off. Bye-bye.